Everybody, welcome back to the channel. We have a brand new sniper to take a look and see if it's going to fit within the sniper meta, whether it's based off its bullet velocity, fire rate, overall handling, ADS speed. Will it fit more like an HDR or will it be more like the Kar 98K? We've already gone through and done a bunch of testing, so we're going to talk about how to unlock it, which is probably one of the most important things. We're going to also break down some of the various stats and maybe a few different loadout combinations. If you enjoyed the video, learned something new, please do me a favor, hit the like button. Goal on today's video is 10,000 likes, and if you're brand new or looking to find your way back for more Call of Duty content, double check, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. All right, so the new sniper is the ZRG 20mm. You can see I've already kind of leveled it up. It did take a little bit of time after unlocking it, and it has a pretty straightforward challenge. And as you can see on screen, the challenge is pretty much to get 2 long shots in a single match, and you can't back out. Not like the Modern Warfare matches where you could leave and it still counted. This one you have to actually stay in the match, regardless if it's a match in progress or whatever. You have to get 2 long shots with a sniper rifle, and you can do this in Cold War multiplayer, or you can do it in Warzone, whether it's in Plunder or the standard Battle Royale, and you'll just kind of unlock it progressively over time. If you just have a sniper, you'll probably just unlock it without even trying. But if you're trying to get it knocked out of the way right away, what you'll probably want to do is go on to Nuketown 24/7, try and lobby shop to make sure you get TDM or KC, since those will generally end in about 6 or 7 minutes. You go post up, you camp a lane, you get your 2 kills, whatever else ever happens after that happens, and that's pretty much how you unlock it as fast as possible, besides the obvious just going to the store and buy the blueprint, and then you kind of at least have access to the weapon right off the bat and can start leveling it. So those are primarily going to be your 2 methods to unlock it, either through challenges. As I normally like to do with these things, I go in, test all the individual attachments for bullet velocity, check the different ADS speeds, if there's a difference between one barrel over the other, with the rear grips actually working now, does it make a difference? Are you going to put on the 5 mag because it only comes with 3, or are you going to just have fast reload? We're going to go through those things, but this is just kind of proof of concept of the various testing. I shoot a specific target about 500 meters away, and it kind of gives me a good indication. Obviously, that is the limits of the weapon. Everything within about 200 meters, it's going to feel mostly the same for most sniper rifles in terms of bullet velocity, but knowing that you could hit a further target kind of makes it a little bit more accessible depending on how you want to use the weapon and how versatile you want to make it, whether you're going to want to run it with the 4X, a 3X, or just use the standard default optic, or maybe even the 20X if you want to go a little crazy there and slow down your ADS a lot. So after I've done all the testing, then I go ahead and put it into a spreadsheet, which we're going to go and look at now. So here's the basic weapon stats. I went through, got the base bullet velocity. It sits right around 700. This is the time it takes for the bullet to travel from when I fire it to actually hit a target 497 meters away, which we showed in that first part. This is the difference between those actual barrels, as well as the task force shroud, the sound moderator, which is basically a regular suppressor, and the agency moderator, which is the agency suppressor. You can see you get a reduction, it slows you down by about 20% for the sound moderator. The agency, the force shroud and the agency moderator both have a 10%. So that's when we'll end up getting to see which one impacts ADS speed differently, because overall that would be the difference. Idle sway, if you hold your breath, not a big deal. Typically, a lot of the Cold War guns have a way more idle sway than we're used to within Modern Warfare weapons, because we get attack, laser, and things along those lines to make it a little bit smoother. I also did the rate of fire, which we'll talk about in a quick second. We have the extended, which is also helping out 10%. We also have the combat recon, which helps out about 40%, up to 961. And these were tested individually. If we do the ultralight, it actually tanks your bullet velocity by about 26%. We have the Sigma Special, which is all the way at the bottom, and that will also help out 10%. So pretty straightforward there. They're probably slightly different, maybe 11% here or there, but this is kind of just averages out. We also have, when we combine the agency moderator and the combat recon, I combined them, you get around 1100 bullet velocity, which is slightly slower than the HDR and the SPR, but faster than the Kar 98. So it definitely has enough bullet velocity to compete with the current meta. And as we go over here, you can see those differences between this max bullet velocity and the individual ones for the HDR, Kar, and SPR. One of the areas where this weapon shines, which the actual attachments are irrelevant. You end up with the rate of fire here right around 54 bullets per minute. So if you just keep spamming and you had unlimited mag, it would end up being 54 would be the rate of fire rounds per minute. And when you actually equip the rapid fire barrel, it helps out 0.3%, so negligible you wouldn't even notice. And then we also have the Sigma Special, with, in addition to helping out with the 10% bullet velocity that we get here, we also have it where it's helping out with the rate of fire by 1.2%. Again, so negligible you wouldn't even notice without actually measuring frame by frame. How does this 54 RPM compare to the HDR? You can see there 32. It's 40% faster there. Car 98, it's actually about 18% faster and about 13% faster than the SPR. So we'll have a faster fire rate with bullet velocities that do actually allow it to compete. Now let's take a look at the aim down sight time, which is very crucial. And I think they've gone and messed something up with this one because it doesn't work exactly right, which we're going to go ahead and get to in a quick second when it comes to the 4X. So we have the base, 551, nothing crazy. Task Force Shroud by itself will slow you down by about 18%. Agency Moderator about 12. Speed Tape helps by about 6%. Drop Shot, 3% it'll help. Serpent about 6%. Jungle about 3%. The 5 mag will actually hurt it by 3%, and the 4X will help by about 6%. One thing I did not unlock yet was the elastic wrap, which I would imagine would be around 3 to 6%, maybe even 8%. Not a huge difference. We'll have to test that once I unlock it, but the leveling on these guns just takes so dang long. So maybe I'll have that at some point if it's relevant. Otherwise, it'll probably be the Serpent or the Speed Tape, which will be good to go. So I combined what quote unquote a good class setup with the 4X, and we end up with the 534 millisecond aim down sight, which is 3% faster than the base. This puts it pretty much tied with the SPR if you're using that 4X optic. But then obviously you got to use the 4X, which doesn't have a glint, so you kind of get that trade-off. And these are pretty much optimum builds for the HDR, Car 98, SPR. Some could be moved up or down just slightly, but these are pretty much what we would call optimal builds. And then we have this one. If you don't use the optic, then you kind of get an extra attachment left over. Just put on a foregrip, just kind of see the ADS speed, and it ends up being 584 milliseconds, which is actually 6% slower than the base and almost as slow as the HDR. 1 frame difference, mostly negligible. Now let's go ahead and talk about the huge issue with the 4X for this particular weapon. So one of the biggest problems that I ran into when I was trying to do some testing on it is that when you actually use the 4X, you don't actually get an opportunity to hold your breath. With the Tundra, with the Pellington, with the M82, when you equip that 4X that has no glint and has equivalent optical zoom as the default optic with the faster ADS speed, it's not allowing you to hold your breath for this one while it's allowing you to hold your breath for the other ones. So pretty much you're going to see me go ahead and aim down sight here. And then right here, it only pops up with mount. There's no feature to hold your breath. And it's not like a buggy thing where you still try to hold your breath and it'll actually tighten up and stop with the idle sway. Doesn't happen. Versus over here, you can see that when I ADS with this one, this is the default one. It says hold the steady. It has a relatively clean reticle. The only downside with it, in my opinion, is it blocks out a huge portion of the screen on the outside, which can be changed with certain blueprints. On the Car 98, I think maybe even the SPR and for sure the HDR have options where you can kind of get rid of that, kind of clean it up a little bit and swap out the reticles. But that's pretty much how that part works. All right, so with all that being said, here are the class setups. So pretty much what you're going to do is the agency moderator, since it was faster than the other one. We're going to go with the combat recon since it offered the best bullet velocity. 3 rounds isn't really enough. I think 5 is definitely the minimum you have to go with. Rear stock, you could either go with the speed or serpent. Doesn't really matter at this point. It's such a negligible difference. If you want to be able to hold your breath, I think you're going to be forced to not run that particular optic. And you're probably just going to go with the underbarrel. You can put on front grip, bipod. It doesn't really matter. Even bruiser, if you want extra mobility and aiming stability, that maybe you just go that route and you suck it up. You're going to have a little bit of a slower gun. It's going to mirror the HDR with the slightly slower bullet velocity. And then if you want to go with that 4X and just say, hey, you know what? I think I can hit my shots. You go with the 4X, and that's pretty much how the build would look, and that's kind of it. I don't think this one's going to be taking over anything. I think the rate of fire definitely allows it to compete more because you can follow up that shot a little bit quicker than somebody else. But the fact that you're going to have a slower aim down sight could be a negative, but the bullet velocity is definitely there to compete. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, learned something new, please do me a favor, hit that like button. Again, goal on today's video is 10,000 likes. If you want to find your way back, double check. Make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Appreciate all the support on the channel. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.